PH, hypnotherapist and a specialist in past life regression, the life between life regression. She can help you quiet your mind chatter and move past the blockages so that you can be healthier and happier. Please welcome Tammy.
Hello there. I've passed out cards that have the name of my office, Mind Over Body Hypnotherapy, in case you're interested afterwards or you want to refer me to someone. I appreciate it. Today I hope to inform you about hypnotherapy and alleviate any fears and misconceptions about what it is. And I also hope to help you to learn more about the 4 brain states, what they are and what they can be used for. Okay, what is hypnosis? It is not mind control. Some people believe it is mind control. It is not mind control. What it is a state that you're in several times a day when you zone out or when you daydream, when you're watching TV, or perhaps you have a hobby or interest that you really get into. Perhaps you're a runner and you get that euphoric high, and when you do, you totally zone out. When I was in college, I was an art major, and when I took drawing classes, we would sit and draw for 3 hours. And when I would arrive, I would get out my drawing things and my pencils, and I would start drawing. And before I knew it, it was time to clean up. I was in that hypnotic state. I was in the zone. So, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. Raise your hand if you think it's true. How many people think that's true? Okay, raise your hand if you think it's false. How many people think it's false? It is true. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. No one can make you do anything you don't want to do. And if you're being hypnotized and you don't want to keep being hypnotized, just open your eyes and you'll be done. So there's nothing really to be afraid of. This is my favorite question. When I get new clients and they come in and they say, "Can you make me quack like a duck?" That always makes me laugh because I know they've only watched stage hypnotherapists. They've watched it on TV or they've gone somewhere and watched a stage hypnotherapist. So this is my joke for the day. It is a duck, so it must walk like a duck and it must quack like a duck. So what are the 4 levels of brain states from fastest to slowest? They are beta, alpha, theta, delta. And I have used my ingenuity to help you remember this because I was a grade school teacher and kids have a hard time knowing a B from a D, and so they always have them write the word bed because that way the B is at the headboard and the D is at the footboard and they can always remember the B from the D. So B is beta, and that's the highest state of brain state, and delta is the slowest. And alpha and theta are in between. So beta is wide awake. Hopefully right now you're all in beta state. You're wide awake. And, whoops. Alpha is the light state. That's the state where you zone out or you're watching TV. I use that state a lot in my practice, and how I get people there is very easy. All I do is I count backwards, I have them visualize, I use my hypnotic voice, which my husband says puts him to sleep every night. Although it's more like, "Honey, did you put the garbage out? Honey, honey, did you put the garbage out?" And he zones out very well. And I check for visual cues. When I hypnotize somebody, I can see by their eyelids moving back and forth if they're visualizing. I can tell by their breath really slowing down that they're becoming more relaxed. Sometimes I see them swallow, and it's like this. And you don't usually notice people swallowing, but everything slows down to the point where you can actually see them swallow up and down. So I look for visual cues. Oftentimes when they're in the alpha state, they don't even realize they're hypnotized, and so they may think, "This isn't working, I'm not really hypnotized." And I always tell them, "I'll look for visual cues. You're in a very light state, and I'll tell you afterwards." What can alpha be used for? And I really do like this picture because the difference between a fear and a phobia. A fear is something you're afraid of. A phobia is something you really can't live with. For example, I had a client who came in who had such a fear of heights, and she had a new boyfriend and she wanted to go skiing with him. And she said, 1, I can't drive up the mountain, I'm too afraid of heights. And 2, I can't ski down. And in one session, I was able to alleviate her phobias and she was able to go skiing. And I had another client who had such a fear of closed spaces, and he was retired and he finally had the time and the money that he was going to take a flight to Africa with his wife. But he said, "I can't sit in that airplane." you know how many hours I'm going to have to sit in that airplane? He said, we will have stops where we can't even get out because of customs and all that stuff. So, again, I could hypnotize him and his phobias could go away. Other things that I've done hypnosis in the light state for. You've heard probably a lot about hypnosis for quit smoking, for weight loss, also for relaxation, for stress, for having sleeping problems, also public speaking. So I passed out my card and I can help you with public speaking. So theta is the deeper state. The difference between getting someone in alpha and theta is that mostly I just need to cue in more to the visual cues. So I need to really check and see if they're getting relaxed. And if they're not, then I need to give them more of those things like counting backwards and having them focus on relaxing and visualizing. Sometimes when people come in for the simple things like weight loss and quit smoking, especially if they meditated on a regular practice or if they had been hypnotized before, they will go to theta also. They may be in alpha and then they may go to theta. But I need to use theta to get them to a deeper state to recall memories and things like that. So theta is used for regression work. So childhood regression, past life regression, life between life regression, I need to get them to that deeper state. And a past life regression, lasts 2 hours, and a life between life lasts 4 hours. So you can see that it would be easy to get to a deeper and deeper state the longer you're under. So, can anyone be hypnotized? How many of you think yes? And how many of you think no? I will say, in my experience, the only time I've had problems hypnotizing people were if they drank too much coffee, especially on the way to my office. Or I had one person who told me finally, you know, I took all these sleeping pills last night, and then I thought, oh, I'll never be awake to drive there, so I took all this no-dose on the way there, and I'm like, thank you. So for the most part, as long as you want to be hypnotized, as long as you are willing and you don't drink too much coffee or you don't stay up late and drink too much alcohol the night before or take any medications, pretty much if the hypnotherapist's patient has enough time, they can hypnotize you. So delta is the last state, and delta is sound asleep. So do clients fall asleep when I hypnotize them? Sometimes. But it's okay. I've had clients quit smoking, and they have slept through 3 sessions, and I make recordings, and they've slept through every recording at home, and they still quit smoking. So it does work when you're sleeping. It just doesn't work when I do regression work, because then there will be like crickets on the tape recording. So I need to wake them up in order to get them to talk and respond to me. But that is the deepest state. Okay, so the 4 levels of brain states from fastest to slowest are beta, alpha, theta, and delta. And hopefully today I have helped alleviate some of your concerns and fears and misconceptions about what hypnotherapy is and made it a little bit less scary. And hopefully I have helped you to learn about the different brain states and how they can help you to relax and to be hypnotized. And I'm hoping that in the future, if you have something that is like a fear or a bad habit or a concern, that perhaps you will even be open-minded to calling on a hypnotherapist to help you. Thank you.